Can you make cinnamon rolls at home that are as good as Cinnabons? We've done Texas Roadhouse rolls, we've done the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich, and today we are making Cinnabon cinnamon rolls to see how they compare to the real thing.
We've got this recipe from the girl who ate everything. Her name's Christy Denny, and we're hoping that this is going to turn out as good or maybe even better than Cinnabon's actual cinnamon rolls. We're gonna find that out in a few hours when this is all done. All right, we're gonna get started by making the dough. The first step in that process is warming the milk up.
We learned in our Texas Roadhouse copycat recipe video that you can't let the milk get too warm or else it will ruin the yeast. So hopefully we can get it right this time. And by the way, if you wanna make this copycat recipe at home, we're gonna put a link in the description to the recipe that we're using.
All right, it's at temperature, so we're going to add 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. So we just stir this up and then let it proof for about 5 minutes.
The recipe calls for a 1/3 cup of butter, but it needs to be melted, so we're going to go ahead and melt it, and it looks like our yeast and milk mixture is just about ready.
Yeah, that's getting nice and frothy.
Here's the butter.
That's the wrong side. Okay, it's time to add everything into our stand mixer. This has a dough hook on it. Make sure also that the eggs are room temperature. It's important that everything is at room temperature so we don't mess with the rising agent, the yeast.
So we've got 1/3 cup melted butter. We've got our yeast and milk mixture that
So
we
that's
made earlier.
that's a cup of milk, a half cup of sugar.
Cup and a half sugar.
Yeah, baby.
2 eggs, again, room temperature. And then, what else? We got flour.
Yep, so it calls for 4 1/2 cups of flour. Now, another thing that I read when I was looking at all these different recipes was, and you probably know this if you bake, that you need different amounts of flour. And this dough and all these doughs that I read about, it's really important that they are tacky but not sticky. So I'm gonna start by adding 4 cups of flour, and then we're going to add a little bit as necessary to get it to the right consistency. We're gonna just turn this on low so we don't throw flour everywhere.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably go up from there. It needs to knead for about 5 minutes.
Okay, it looks like we forgot the salt, so we're gonna put that in now.
Calls for a teaspoon of salt. Feels just right,
It looks
though.
really, really good.
It's tacky, but it's not.
Doesn't stick to your hands.
Yeah, and it's not sticking to the sides of the bowl, so I
Yeah.
think we got it just right, which
Perfect.
is awesome. So we need to butter this bowl, and this dough feels perfect.
The bowl is buttered.
All right, we just put that in there. We're going to put some plastic wrap over the top, and then we let that sit for about an hour. It needs to double in size. Another thing I'm gonna do is put a towel over the top of that, just to kind of help hold the heat in.
The dough is just about ready, so we're going to make the filling for the cinnamon rolls as it's finishing up. We're starting off with 1 cup of brown sugar.
It also calls for 2 1/2 tablespoons of cinnamon, but she has a note in there that says that that might be a little bit too much for some people, although that's kind of what makes the Cinnabon cinnamon roll taste how it tastes, with a lot of cinnamon. So I'm going to just pare it down a tiny bit and go with 2 tablespoons. She recommends 1 tablespoon to 2 1/2. So let's do 2 tablespoons.
All right. Mix together the sugar y cinnamon.
A little bit of Spanish studying going on. So there's our brown sugar cinnamon mixture ready. We need 1/3 cup of softened butter. So we just took this out of the fridge, so it's still a little bit hard. One thing I like to do when I'm making cookies to soften butter is actually just pound on it with my palm, and that softens it up pretty good.
Here is the dough. It's definitely risen.
I would say that's about double.
Yeah, if you look at the wrap on top, it's bulging out, so
yeah.
Looks like it might be about ready. Oh.
Woo!
Okay,
Very
that's how
nice.
you know when your dough's ready.
All right.
If you're wondering why we have a tape measure,
Oh yeah.
you want to explain that?
Yeah, because we want to do this exactly like the instructions say. Can you grab it? I think it says roll it out to 16 by 21. So 16 by 21 inch rectangle, 1/4 inch thick. So we start by just getting some flour sprinkled on the work surface. I'm going to use my fancy homemade
Rolling pin?
Rolling pin. I actually made this myself. Turned it out of some cherry wood from a cherry tree that was in our front yard.
I'm ready.
Whoop. Look at that. That is beautiful.
Okay.
Sprinkle a little bit of
Flour on there.
flour on it. Oh man, that's
some nice dough.
That's some nice dough.
Oh,
Feels
yeah.
good.
21 and a half.
Oh man.
By 17.
Oh!
You made it too big.
Okay, well, that's okay. We're gonna stick with that.
Okay.
All right, sweetness. Well, now we get a third cup of the butter. Go ahead and grab that, and we'll use a rubber spatula. Just go ahead and stick it on there, and then we're going to
Plop it on.
smear it around. Leave about an inch off of this edge.
Okay.
All right, so we're done with the butter. The reason that we put that on there is so that the cinnamon mixture will stick to it. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump this in the middle.
Ooh.
And then spread it around. This is the part where, no, not with that.
With our hands?
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
We gotta have a little fun. It's kindergarten time or preschool time. Now we're just gonna go ahead and roll it up.
Look at that.
Yeah, it looks beautimous.
There
Look
it
at
is.
that. Now just kind of push that in
Okay.
so it seals it off. Oh, this is a work of art.
I know.
This
This
is
might be our first copycat recipe that goes completely to plan.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but maybe. Okay, we want 12 pieces. So what I'm gonna do is just score this. So I'm starting here. And
I think score means cut. Is that
No, score means make a mark.
right? Okay, I was wrong. Score doesn't mean cut.
So what we need to do is get a glass baking dish, a 9x13. We're gonna grease this.
Should we do it with butter?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it with butter. So I'll go ahead and cut them, and then if you want to just place them in there.
Alright, now all of our beautiful looking cinnamon rolls are in the pan. We're going to cover them and let them rise for about 30 to 60 minutes.
Until doubled in size.
Warming station. Yes.
All right, so the rolls are risen. They're about double in size. They look fantastic, if I do say so myself. So we're gonna go ahead and put those in a preheated 350-degree oven. It says about 18 to 20 minutes or until the tops are just starting to turn golden brown. You don't want to over bake them or else they will not be soft and gooey like the Cinnabon ones are.
Into the oven they go. And how long are they going to be in there for?
18 to 20 minutes.
Alright, let's start with 18. Now let's start on the icing. And for the icing, we need butter, cream cheese, salt, vanilla, and powdered sugar.
And this calls for a crazy amount of powdered sugar. It's 3 cups. I just can't imagine how you can fit 3 cups of powdered sugar onto these cinnamon rolls, but I guess that's one of the things that makes them super yummy. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, and maybe we don't use it all, I don't know. All right, 8 ounces of cream cheese. You wanna get that opened up, and we need a whole stick of butter. You wanna get 3 cups of that in there? I cannot
That is a lot of powdered sugar. Alright, 3 whole cups. Yeah, that is a lot.
And a teaspoon of vanilla.
Vanilla.
It's probably my favorite ingredient ever.
Vanilla?
Yes. I love vanilla. And then an 1/8 teaspoon of salt.
Alright, look at that.
Is that good? Woo-wee. Is it like all nice and incorporate?
I don't know, it seems like it. Look at that.
That's how you tell, you push on it.
Wow, those ingredients turned into this.
Woo, that smells good. I will give that
thank
to you. We will taste test the frosting.
Definitely passes my test.
All right, let's check these out and see where they're at. Go ahead and get it close in. Oh, not quite. They're really close. Maybe just a couple more minutes. So all these recipes that I've read say to watch these things like a hawk while they're in the oven, because if they over brown, like I was saying before, they will come out and they will be too hard.
Okay,
Timer's ringing. It's time
there's
to do
the timer.
it.
Let's see what they're looking like.
Oh, baby. Look at that.
Oh yeah, those look nice.
Those look delicious.
Wow.
Okay, so another thing, yes, they smell delicious.
Yeah.
Another thing that all of these recipes said that we're copycatting Cinnabon is to do half the icing first, and it like melts in there. So we like better get that started.
Okay.
And then we wait a few minutes and then do the other half after that. We're gonna slather this on here.
Okay, we really need to invent smell-o-vision because because that smells amazing. You guys need to smell that too.
So the lady that did the recipe, Christy Denny, she said that they do these cinnamon rolls for Christmas every year, and basically for any other special occasion for breakfast. So we might just have to.
We might have to,
start that
do that.
The moment we have been waiting for, we just got this from Cinnabon at the mall. Of course, that's like the only place that they sell them. Look at that. Oh man,
yeah.
it smells delicious, but you know what? I think maybe the homemade one smells even better.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh man.
Yeah, so there is quite a big difference in looks. This is what our homemade one looks like compared to the real Cinnabon. This one definitely has some more brown, probably some more cinnamon on there.
Looks more cinnamon. It's larger in size. Not as much frosting either. And I'm going to tell a secret. We actually didn't add the second layer of frosting because the first layer had so much on it.
Right.
But I brought it in just in case we decide that we want more. We can put more on there. But even then, the frosting on our homemade one is more than the one on the Cinnabon.
All right.
So let's cut this.
I'm ready
in half.
to eat.
Me too, man.
Been waiting for like 4 hours.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, there it goes.
It's gooey.
I'm gonna go in for the homemade first.
Okay.
Cuts through nice and pretty easily, actually.
That's really soft. Oops. Hey, do you take a huge bite too?
Yep.
We just talked about taking small bites so we could talk, but then we
I
both
just took a huge bite.
We both looked down and we just took a huge bite.
Oh my goodness, that is very good though.
That is heavenly.
Oh yeah.
It's soft, it's cinnamony. It's really sweet. The cream cheese frosting on there.
It's
divine.
It's not as cinnamony as I maybe thought it would be, and I'm not sure. Maybe this one will have more cinnamon because it sure looks like it does.
The first bite I took was kind of an outside layer bite, so it didn't have much cinnamon on it. So this one's a little bit more inside.
I think I got some more cinnamon on that.
Man,
that is pretty much that is really good.
That's like a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I don't know. Once I eat that, maybe it's better, but that tastes like a 10 out of 10 cinnamon roll.
Sure does.
All right, let's see.
All right, it's definitely harder to cut through.
Yeah, it's not as soft.
The real Cinnabon. Oh wow, I can't get through it.
Do you need my serrated knife?
There we go. Completely different.
You know what?
The dough is I think a little more cooked. Would you say?
Yeah,
more cinnamony, but less flavor overall.
That's what I was gonna say. Is less flavor. Holy cow! I can't believe that. Okay, I'm going for a middle bite. This is like the heart of the cinnamon roll right here. If this isn't good, ain't nothing good. Let's see how that does.
All right, I'll do the same.
It is quite good.
My middle bite had a lot of flavor.
Yeah, that was really, really good.
Yeah.
So to do an apples to apples, I'm going to the middle of my homemade, and we're gonna see, based on the middle, who wins the title.
Let's do it.
Wow.
The frosting, or the icing, I should say, on the homemade one, I think is better. The one from Cinnabon is more cinnamony, and the dough, I think, might be. I'm not sure if it's better. It's a little more baked, so if you prefer that, then you might prefer the Cinnabon.
You know, it's funny because when I was reading on these recipes, it talked about how the Cinnabon cinnamon roll, in fact, this was directly from Cinnabon, saying that their cinnamon roll is a little bit on the gooey side. But this one, I mean, it's fully baked. It's not gooey, but I would say it's softer, and if you want to call it gooey, gooier than the Cinnabon cinnamon roll.
Right.
My opinion is the frosting on the homemade one is better. I like the bake a little bit better on the homemade one.
Okay.
It's a little softer. And the cinnamon, I can't tell much of a difference between the two.
I'm definitely getting more cinnamon from the Cinnabon, sorry. I don't know, even if the real thing tastes a little bit better overall, is it worth the 4-hour process? Because...
Yes, because then your whole house gets to smell like this.
True, actually. True. It does.
And this is awesome. I mean, imagine waking up Christmas morning to that smell, opening up some gifts, and then eating this.
Okay, I guess, are we agreeing that the homemade Cinnabon, or I guess not Cinnabon, Copycat Cinnabon recipe is better than the real thing?
I would say yes, it is better.
Okay.
It's very close. I mean, they did a fantastic job of copying it, and I think they actually made it a little bit better than Cinnabon does.
All right, I agree. It's a little bit better. I'm surprised.
Me too.
They did it better than the real thing.
It's awesome. You guys got to try this recipe.
I know.
Like we said earlier, it's going to be in a link in the description, so go check that out. And props to Christy Denny, I think is her name. Yep, coming up with that recipe. She did a fantastic job. You guys are going to love it. So go ahead and try that.
Thank you guys for watching this video. We really hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. We'll see you in the next one.
See ya.
Again, it is a
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.